Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I am going to refilm a video I've tried to film before. This is a story time about growing up with my father and why I've struggled so much over the last almost 9 years of his passing. So while I tell my story, if you see me looking down, I am just doing the diamond art that I've been working on. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. So I grew up in the country. Well, okay, so I grew up moving around actually a lot. From the moment I was born until I was about 3 years old, we lived in the country. We had like 100 and something acres, animals and farm, whatnot. Now, I really need some sort of tool here to get this old wax out so I can put new stuff in. Alright, so like I was saying, from birth until I was about 3 years old, we lived in the country, in northeast Ohio, and at some point, my mom's dad was a narcissist, very controlling, and very old-fashioned. I guess over time, sorry, I'm trying to get the wax in here. Oh, it just doesn't want to go. I think I got it. All right. There was a lot of family issues between my mom's dad, my mom, and my father. And over the first 3 years of my life, it had gotten so bad that there was like, my mom was in the middle. Her dad would come griping to her about my dad, and my dad would go to her griping about her dad, and it was just like a bunch of, kind of thing. And over time, listening to all that for so long, from the moment I was born, and I would say it happened from before I was born. It happened long before I was born. And then when I was born, it just seemed to get worse. And when I was 2 years old, my mom couldn't take the stress, the anxiety, the going back and forth, just the whole situation. That when I was 2, my mom tried to commit suicide. Okay, she tried to take a bunch of Xanax, and she tried to commit suicide when I was 2. My father found her quick, got her to the hospital. My dad rushed her to the hospital himself. My dad was too scared, and he didn't waste no time. And on top of that, my dad was, certified in CPR and first aid, mainly for work, but it was just who my dad was. So when I was 2, my mom tried to commit suicide because she couldn't handle the stress or the bullshit any longer. And when I was 3, because like after I was 2, when my mom recovered, there was still more bullshit. And in order to get away from the bullshit, my mom and dad decided it would probably be best if we moved to Wayne County, West Virginia. So we took a trip, we drove, we moved. We were down there for a little bit. My dad couldn't get work. My older sister's mental health issues got worse. And now my father grew up with a dad who was from the military, very stern, very structured, very highly disciplined, if you understand what I mean. My dad was born in 1968. His father was born in like the early to mid 40s, I believe. Maybe even a little bit before that. So if you can tell the difference in generations, it showed. My dad never learned how to cope with his, he never learned how to cope with his emotions, his anger. He never learned how to emotionally regulate himself. So constantly my dad showed a lot of anger, a lot. And with the way my dad grew up, you talk back, you're showing signs of disrespect. And my dad hated being disrespected. And it didn't matter who it was. I'm sorry if you hear any gross noises. I am in the basement, and just above me is mine and my fiance's room, and he is currently home sick on his day off, and he is having some serious issues. So anyway, there was not a lot of structure. My dad never learned any of that. He never learned to regulate his emotions. He never learned how to not take his feelings out on other people. Well, when we moved down to Wayne County, West Virginia, my older sister, who is not biologically my father's, my mom was actually married before, and my older sister was a result of that relationship. So she is my half sister. We have 2 different dads. But my mom's dad took a strong liking to my older sister. Okay, from the moment she was 3 years old up until she was 9. So for 6 years, my mom's dad, he would always be like, you don't have to listen to them. You don't have to do everything they say. You can do what you want. You move up here and you can have this and that and all that you want and whatnot. So over time, with my sister hearing him talk, really got into her head. Very, 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 very harshly. That from the moment we moved down there until I was about 5, so from 3 to 5 years old, it was like 18 months. We lived in Wayne County, West Virginia for like 18 months. So within those 18 months, my sister's behavior went downhill so quick that me, my mom had bruises. We were being abused by my older sister, due to my mom's dad coercing and talking. And one second, you guys, I will, all right, sorry guys, we're back. So there was a lot of coercing, and my mom's dad got my sister to start talking back, okay? The one person that, there were two people that were the target. It was my mom and my dad. I mean, I was a target too, but I wasn't as much of a target as my parents were. So she would talk back. She called my dad an asshole, some horrible, horrible things. She used to throw toys at his head. And my dad was the type of person that if you throw a toy, you talk back, you're going to either get your toy taken and soap in your mouth, okay? That's the way I was raised. Is it okay to be raised like that? No, absolutely not. That's why I don't do that with my daughter, okay? But, you know, my sister was talking back, and my dad kept telling her, you better watch your mouth. Watch the way you're speaking to me. Watch your tone, you know, that kind of thing. And my sister would not stop. She just kept going. And then the next thing I know, he said one, I don't remember what my sister said, but when my dad heard it, there was a whack across her face, and she ended up having a handprint bruise on her face. And my dad did the right thing and started to walk away at that point. He started to walk away. He was breathing. He was breathing like, you know, but he was breathing. He was trying to work through it, and he was trying to gather himself. And me, I was like 4 at the time. I think I was 4 years old at the time. My sister told me, and this was when my dad was walking away. She had pulled me close to her and said, if you don't start talking this way too, I am going to hurt you worse than he ever could. And he'll never believe you if you tell him. I was so little. I was scared. So I said bad things too. Because my dad worked 3rd shift. So my dad was gone a lot. My dad was gone. He was working. And I knew that I was going to be with her and my mom more than I would be with my dad. So I did what my sister said just to make sure I wasn't going to get injured or hurt. Okay? It is what it is. So I started talking bad too to my father. And all I'm thinking is, this isn't right. He didn't do anything to me. I didn't do anything to him. There's no reason for me to talk this way. I just remember being scared and remembering that you have to do this. Like, you don't have a choice. This is like to survive. So I said bad things too. And then the next thing I knew, I had gotten my butt spanked. And this day, my sister had a bruised handprint on her face because of the way she spoke to my father. I ended up getting a handprint bruise on my butt because of speaking disrespectfully to my dad. That day, my mom had called the police and reported it. And it was reported. It was, my dad ended up getting arrested. My dad ended up going to jail. My dad was sentenced. My dad was in jail for like